If you're currently employed, but you're considering a move in your career, then watch this video to make sure that you're doing everything you can to maximize your search while making sure you don't make any jeopardizing mistakes along the way. My name's Brent, I own the Vancouver Express Employment Professionals office, and we believe that there are 10 key steps that we feel you should consider in your job search. Within each of these steps are several paths, choices, and actions that you can take, and they all depend on your personal situation and circumstances. In this video, we're going to talk about the first step in the process, which is determining your needs, which will be critical to helping you navigate the path in your next steps. We'll also discuss what some of the companies and hiring managers consider when they hire someone in your position, and what you'll need to do to overcome some of the obstacles. Step 1 is to understand the strength of your position and strengthen it further. Having a job while looking for a job makes you that much more attractive to a potential employer. Companies want to hire the best of the best, and often these people are employed. Furthermore, when you look for a job while you still have a job, there tends to be less pressure on you to make a decision. You'll always have your current job to fall back on, giving you confidence in your search because you're not in a desperate situation. You'll have leverage, and you'll be able to decline positions that aren't a fit. You'll also be in a greater position to negotiate the terms of an offer, and without a job, this leverage goes out the window. Step number 2 is to understand the risks. While experts highly advise against quitting or waiting until you're fired to start your job search, there are risks associated with hunting for a job while you're still employed. Perhaps the biggest danger of looking for a new job while you're currently employed is that someone at your current company will find out. If your boss finds out, he or she may take it personally or see it as a lack of loyalty to them and the company. They might assume that you're unhappy, and worst case scenario, may start taking steps to terminate you. If the new job that you're seeking is with a major competitor, there certainly could be ethical issues that could arise and even legal issues around a conflict of interest. Depending on the job and the environment, you may even be perceived as a security threat. Step 3 is a question I'm often asked, which is, should I tell my current employer that I'm looking for a new job? I'm personally a firm believer in yes, but the answer is complicated. Most employers want a heads up well in advance if you're leaving. The ideal situation is plenty of notice, you giving assistance in backfilling and training the replacement and setting the team and the company up for success through your departure. You'll need a tactful and strategic approach to this that's specific to your situation. There are several things you can do to help yourself and your boss through the transition. Therefore, despite the downsides, sometimes it is better to let your current employer know. But how you go about this is important, which brings us to step 4, explore options where you are. I think you should consider why you're thinking of leaving and explore options to improve your current situation. Doing so will depend on the level of trust that exists between you and your current employer. But I think you should think about what's frustrating you at your current job and consider whether or not some changes could be made to make things better. In my opinion, if your resignation is a complete surprise to your employer, then it's likely as a result of a breakdown in communication. You should be open and honest about your concerns and try to help some of these problems before they become so severe that an exit is your only option. Typically, people quit for one of the following reasons: either a lack of appreciation or feeling burnt out, lack of flexible work options, wanting to work remotely, poor mental health, difficult relationships with management, challenging corporate cultures, a lack of engagement, general unhappiness at work, or a lack of career growth. With any of these factors, I find it critical to ensure that you don't have a victim mentality. Countless times I've seen people leave multiple positions over time, and all for the same reason. If this is a common theme for your career, you may want to reassess. If one or more of these issues are a factor triggering your desire to leave the company, then I suggest you address them with your employer. You'll either find out that change can be made or that it can't. Either you aren't articulating your views effectively, or change just can't be made. If change can't be made, then being open about your desire to leave shouldn't come as a surprise, and it ensures you don't burn a bridge. You can help them backfill your position, and in my opinion, this not only leaves you in the best light with your current employer, but solidifies references and can have your employer in your corner while you search. Step 5 is to continue to stay focused on your current job. You should continue to perform at your current performance level. It's important to show respect and professionalism to your employer. You should never check out prematurely or go on autopilot. And as difficult as this may be, this is the time to keep doing stellar work, to preserve your reputation, and to be able to leave when the time comes with your head held high. It can be hard to stay focused on your current job when a job search does require a lot of time and effort, but you have to remember who's currently paying you and who you're currently committed to. Step number 6 is, if you can't be open with your current employer, to keep your job hunt a secret. If you can't be open with your current employer and there's no way to affect change, then be discreet. Some companies' policies are to let people go who are actively seeking a new role. This is also position dependent, but it depends, and it might be best for you to keep your job hunt on a need-to-know basis. A few tips, like making sure your wardrobe doesn't give you away such as if you normally wear business casual clothing but all of a sudden show up in a suit and tie, may be a major indicator of your interviewing. Be selective about whom you give your resume to and explain to those recipients that your job search is confidential. I suggest you don't post your resume on job boards, as it's highly possible that your current employer will see your resume posted, and nothing kills a discreet job search faster than getting messages and phone calls from recruiters looking to see if you're open to making a change to their company. Step 7 is don't use company resources while searching. Conducting your job search on company time or dime is never a good idea. During office hours, your current job should be your primary focus. It's unethical and disrespectful and not likely to garner a great recommendation from your current company when the time comes. Recruiters understand discretion is often part of the process, and they should be willing to do what they can to keep things discreet. So be upfront with them. Set up meetings and calls during off hours or your lunch, and if possible, make sure you're doing all your job search activities while you're at home or on your own time. Avoid the temptation to review job postings from your mobile device or responding to emails from potential employers while working. If emails need to be responded to more quickly, set aside time over your lunch or over breaks to take care of them. Step 8 is leverage social media to find a new job. Social media can be a job seeker's best friend if you know how to leverage it correctly. LinkedIn should be your first stop, but don't make the mistake of updating your professional profile only when you're looking for a new role. It's a dead giveaway. Also, make sure to unclick the Notify My Network button, as changes that are made are blasted out by LinkedIn for engagement. Also a dead giveaway. Ideally, you should be updating your LinkedIn constantly. Make sure your profile is 100% complete. It should be a living, breathing document that shows potential employers what you've been working on and what your value is to your current company. Unlike other social media and social networking sites, LinkedIn has the added value of being viewed by your current employer. They want you to be updating it and adding to it because it can reflect positively on them. Step 9 is to use your network. The majority of employers feel that referrals from their current employees make some of the best hires, so reach out frequently to your friends, family, and any former colleagues to find out what roles are available in their companies. Networking can be tough when you're juggling a full-time job, but there are ways to make it work. Try scheduling early morning coffees, meet for lunch, dinner out, or drinks, and do your best to talk about opportunities. You should also research to see what professional organizations or companies are holding networking events or career fairs in your area. Step 10 is to regularly review the job listings. Keep your eyes on the job boards in your field to assess trends and employer expectations. You should check Indeed and LinkedIn or any of the other top job sites every couple weeks to see what jobs are available for someone with your skill set. Consider using LinkedIn to reach out to HR or recruiters instead of just shooting a resume over, and I suggest connecting with a few recruitment firms that specialize in your field. Being represented by an agency versus being another resume on the pile can have its advantages and can help ensure that you get in front of the right people. Number 11 is create a list of companies you'd love to work for. I highly suggest that you identify some businesses where you'd love to be an employee. If you don't already have one, it's a good idea to do some research on the company, get some information, and create a list of companies that you can target. All the information that you need is available online, and it's often easy to find detailed information about potential employers. Once you have this list of your dream employers, you can do some special outreach to get your application noticed. You may even be able to sign up to get email notifications for job openings. I'd also suggest that you consider reaching out and networking with key decision makers from the organization to see if you'd be a fit for current or future positions. 12 is schedule interviews outside of work hours as much as possible. You can only have so many 9 a.m. doctor's appointments in a week before you start to raise suspicion. Consider breakfast or lunch meetings or ask for a slot after work. Many companies will accommodate your requests, especially if you're upfront about your need for discretion given your current situation. If the interview is scheduled during working hours, consider taking a vacation day or a personal day. Interviews can go long, and you don't want to impose additional stress on your situation or yourself by needing to leave work early or show up late, forcing you into difficult conversations with your employer or having to cut a great interview short. 13 is don't act prematurely. In this situation, hope is not a strategy. Take deep breaths and stay away from doing or saying anything rash just because you had a promising interview. You don't have the new job until you've received and accepted a job offer and have signed the paperwork. Anything you do or say until then must be carefully considered. In other words, searching for a job while you're employed requires you to tread lightly, be patient, and stay discreet. That being said, sometimes a job search will reveal that grass only looks greener on the other side. If you discover how much you enjoy your current job, there's nothing wrong with calling off your search and staying where you are. The interview process would not have been a waste because you'll have earned some newfound appreciation for your commute, interesting assignments, a good working relationship with your boss, many different situations. After all, no job is perfect, and if the process helps you rediscover your passion for the parts of your current job that you love, then so be it. 14 is how to handle references. I suggest that you have at least 2 solid references ready to go from different employers, and only use someone from your current place of employment as a last resort or subject to acceptance of an offer. References should only be given upon request, and even then, done with the express caveat that this job search is confidential for the time being. Don't use any of your current coworkers or supervisors as references if you can avoid it, and only do so if you shared with them in advance that you're looking. If you're in this position of strength where you're employed and you're interviewing, you might not need references from your current employer, as you're going to be leaving and you're only going to leave for the right situation. You should be able to convey this to your potential employer. The key here would be having a reference from one of your previous employers, hopefully a really strong one. Thanks again for tuning in, and I really hope this helps. If you'd like more information on Express or more help throughout your job search, please visit our website, our Facebook, or our LinkedIn pages, which are all linked below, and feel free to share these resources with anybody that you think we might be able to help.